All right. Hey, hello everybody, and welcome to another stream and some updates from yesterday in my attempt to create this kind of electrical pole system with as little, I guess, work as possible, but with as little time spent on it as possible. Let's put it that way. And actually, let me know if the audio is coming in okay as well. Hopefully it is. Um, Now let me show you the kind of the results and we'll try and reproduce it. I'm hoping there's still some cleanup that I need to do on the blueprint. Hopefully there's not going to be any issues happening, but we'll see. Okay, let's see what came of some of the work from last afternoon. If you recall, we were trying to add one of those uh, eye scatter tools that I'm using. Like, for example, if this is the first time checking this out, I'm using the eye scatter tool to add some of these decals to the road. I am using it, let's see, for adding some of these road signs and quite a lot of other things, to be honest. Now, the um, the one thing that I was trying to use it as well is to set up these electrical poles with these cables along the road, just to, kind of give that feel of, okay, this is a world being lived in. There's like electricity going through and so on and so forth. The setup that I had before with these electrical poles, it was working, but you would have to place them manually and then select kind of the next pole in the line and then the next one and then the next one. And it could prove to be a little bit of a chore, a little bit too much work. So what I was trying to do is, first I was trying to automate the way these are getting linked to each other, for starters. And then the other one was to be able to use the spline tool, this eye scatter tool, since it can place actors. And so, for example, this one here with these patches, they're just a series of blueprint actors. And I was hoping that I could do the same thing for these electrical poles. Like I would place them on a spline. This one already does a trace, so it places on the ground. I don't have to worry about that part. Now, the um, the one thing that I was trying to figure out was, apologies, as I was trying to figure out is the how to link them together and also how to make that work on this spline, because the spline itself, it's going to run the construction script at I don't know what time, and also the construction script of the pole itself, when it tries to link into the next pole, when does that run? So I was running into some difficulties with that last night, but what I did discover, well, not discover, it was there all along. This IA scatter tool does have an option where you can actually extract the actors in it into outside of this one blueprint. So what I did was I've actually just used the blueprint to place my actors alongside of it, because it's really quick to place them. It does that tracing and it places on the surface and it places them alongside the spline, which is, a road is a spline. So that's very helpful. And what I ended up with, like all these actors here, they're all placed manually, just so to kind of give a comparison. So all these poles over here, they're all manually placed. But then towards the end of this, like I think I'm actually crossing the road. And yeah, I've actually created like a little bit of a linkage between some of these to just assist me. Um, and all these that are starting to be placed from here going down the road all the way to this end, they're all placed with the eye scatter tool. And what I'm hoping to do in this stream, at least the beginning, is to actually redo this, and from kind of just starting um, from placing the IA scatter tool, using my that blueprint that I have for these poles, and getting this entire road kind of fitted with these electrical poles. Okay, so first let's I'm just gonna start and clean this up, and by that let's just remove these ones, and I'm just gonna go ahead and delete these. Yes, I know they're all linked. All right, and then let's also remove. I'm gonna leave this. I've created this blueprint that works just the same as the electrical poles. You know, it has 3 wires that it can link into another one of these actors. Basically, you know, links into this one here. And let's also delete these the electrical poles. So I hope I have everything selected here. Looks like I am. I have everything selected. Let's remove all of these. Okay, so everything is gone. What I'm going to try and do now is add one of the IA scatter tools and you know, try to make it hug the road as best as I can, all the way from this junction here to that tunnel entrance back here. Okay, let's get to it. So let's go and get the IA scatter tool. There we go. There's our blueprint, and by default it just starts like that. And let's make some changes here that I need. First of all, let's bring down the instances to 10, just because it takes quite a bit of processing for that. And I'm going to change this to a blueprint actor, and this one is going to be our electrical pole. And I'll also show a little bit of the work that I've done on the electrical pole so that it kind of links onto the next one. Because you can see right now it's kind of a mess, which is still kind of cool, I guess. You know, it's getting a pretty interesting result if you want to create kind of like a hodgepodge of cables. But that's not really what we want. So let's change this one to, we want this to be a spline down. So it just follows the spline. Also, the other thing that we want to adjust is the spread to 0, so it just follows the spline correctly. Now we're going to adjust the spline distribution type to say a fixed distance, and then we'll adjust the fixed distance. Let's start right now, just set it to 300 for now. Okay, so as you can see, they all follow along the spline. The other thing that I wanted to adjust is the rotation. So this one should be aligned to Z, so it follows along the spline like that. And also the scale. So this one's always going to be at 1. We want all of them to be the same scale. And I'm going to adjust these to be all 0, just to keep the scale on the same size for all these. All right, now let's adjust the spline points to actually follow the road as best as we can. I'm going to start over here and then move this one to about there. I'm going to try and get a few points in here just to make them kind of curve along with the road as best as possible. All right, so let's get another one there, and we'll try and rotate it a little bit so it goes along the road, kind of like that. All right, let's add another one to about there. Let's see how that's going to look. Maybe that's a little too much. Let's bring it a little bit further back. I have this curve in the road. So I'm going to try and kind of match it as best as I can. There's also these, each one of these spline points has these extensions that you can make finer adjustments, but we can do that afterwards. Okay, let's add another point to about there. And let's try and adjust it. There we go. And move it to there. And actually, we're almost there. And last one, let's stop right there. Okay. So now that we have the spline in place, and it's hugging the road best as we can right off the bat, what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust these electrical poles to have a bigger distance in between them. So let's make it to maybe 3,000. There we go. So now we have them all linked. They follow the spline pretty well. And since this one, this one has no linkage at the moment, so that's why these splines are just sitting there, just floating in the air. Okay, but we need a few more of these. I think 10 is not enough, so let's do 20. Let's see how that's going to turn out. And there we go. So they're all getting linked together. Do we have enough for 20? I guess we can spread them out a little more, maybe. I'm not sure if this distance is, they're too close together there. I mean, it looks pretty good. They're not that close, I don't think. But let's see if we can do maybe 4,000. Okay, that's a little bit better. All right, so there we go. The cable is still there. And do we reach the end? We're almost to the end of that. Maybe we can add a couple more instances. 22. There. Okay. So that's pretty good. Like I was saying, the one thing with this is that you don't really have access to, and you can probably make them available, some of the properties for this blueprint actor by editing the IA scatter. I just didn't want to mess around with it too much because what this one has, I probably want to, because the one thing that I do want to change on some of these, as you can see, if I place them on this side of the road, I might not want all of them to have the transformer or all of them to have the light. And the option that you get with the IA scatter tool is, which to to my shame, is I've only discovered it because I actually was looking this up, is this little utility widget here, where especially when it comes to actors, you can go ahead and the actor you have selected. So in my case, I have this the one with the electrical pole selected. I can convert this to, and give it a name and a path. I can convert it. I'm not sure if I'm reading this right, as mesh slash folder. Mm, I'm probably not gonna worry about it too much, but it's probably like how these are set up in here. I need to look it up a little bit more. But you can give it a name. So in this case, it'd be maybe electrical poles, one along road or something. And once you convert it, it's going to turn all of these into individual actors. So then I can control each one of them individually and set it to, okay, I'm going to set this one to not have, maybe, or select a few of them and set it to, it's not going to have a light, or it's not going to have a transformer. But now with this IA scatter tool, I have all of them placed, all of them linked with the cables, and there's like a variety and like, how much the cables hang, they're not all the same because that was how I had it set up. And they're all the way back to here. Now, of course, I will probably uh, do this conversion once I have the spline kind of hugging the road as I wanted it to, maybe on um, whatever side of the road I wanted it on. But for now, let's make sure that all of these are placed in the correct position. One of the issues that and this might be, like I said, my assumption is due to the construction script. Some of these are not linking properly. Like, see, this one still has the wires hanging, and I'm thinking that's, probably the point of when the construction script runs for each one of these. And that's why I want to convert this entire spline back into its individual actors. So that way I can, each one of these actors has an option to reset the wires, and basically it just reconnects or reruns the construction script and reconnects. And that way I can refresh these individually of the IA scatter tool. Now the way these connect with each other, let's place, just going to place one of these electrical poles and show you. So the way these connect, and you'll see that it already connected to one of them, it is based on a dot product. So it's trying to look in front of it and connect to whatever's there, and that's lower than a specific dot product. So let me try and reset these along. Yeah, see, so it goes back to that one. Now, by default, I have this check to say if it's in spline or not. So if it's in spline, it tries to look, both back and forward. But if it's separate, it's only going to look forward, basically how the arrow is oriented. So this one, if I'm going to try and disconnect it from that, I need to turn it a little bit farther. And if I was to move this one, and this comes when it comes down to placing individual poles, I can move it here. Let's see if I can get these to connect. And there we go. So this one connects to the one in front of it because it found it, and it found it in this radius. So you'll see, not sure why oh yeah, there we go. It's a little bit bigger radius. You'll see there's this sphere where it tries to look for things in front of it. So see if I go out of the sphere, it doesn't register this pole anymore. But if I kind of close it in, see it was able to connect to it. And all of that now, it's done um, procedurally / automatically. I don't have to like link them together, so big time saver. But the biggest time saver is the ability to have them on this uh, on this um, on this spline, and that's saving even more time. And so now let's actually get to adjusting the spline to hug the road maybe a little bit better. We'll see if we can do that. I'm not going to spend too much time, but the spline is immensely helpful when it comes to uneven roads or kind of a sloped road that if you were to place these individually, you'd kind of have a little bit of a hard time at it. So it'd be you know a little bit of a headache. The one thing that I might improve on this is this fixed distance along spline. I believe actually I am not sure if there's a way to, um, so there's a random way to set these, but, and I think, I'm not entirely sure so there's an option here where it says minimum distance between instances. But then I would want to probably have a maximum distance between instances because, like I was saying, uh, these poles only sample, as you've seen, only what's within a certain radius. So if it's beyond that radius, it's not going to link it, and that's kind of a little bit of the difficulty by having them be placed at random. Now, usually, uh, I would think these are placed at a fixed distance in like a kind of a real world scenario when it comes to like electricity and stuff. I think, but hey, it's a fictitious world, so I'm not gonna get too much into it. But let's try and adjust these points along the spline and see if we can position these a little bit better than what they're at the moment. And so as I was saying, I'm just gonna try and grab some of these and try and make it hug the road a little bit better than before. There we go. So kind of along the road, that's pretty good. All right, let's try and adjust this one. There we go. And these seem to be following. I've gotten pretty close to the road on this one. Let's actually move it past the guardrail. Now this is another thing that I'm not sure if how I feel about it. If I want to set it on the the side of the road with the guardrail or on the other side to add a little bit of variety. Yeah, I'm still um, I wouldn't say on the fence about it, but yeah, I'm kind of thinking what might work best. Okay. Oh, hey, Supun, welcome, welcome. How are you? Welcome to the stream. All right. Well, let's try and get this one. I'm hoping I have the right. Do I not have the right? That's now that I have a number of splines. I'm not sure if I'm selecting the right spline. So let me see. There we go. That's the right one actually now. And yeah, I guess there's with the landscape spline, there's a little bit too many on that side of the road, so it might make things a little bit complicated. But yeah, so I managed to place them on the other side of the guardrail, which is good. They're fitting in pretty well. Let's see, maybe try and move this one onto the other side. Where's my spline point? It's here. Oh no, this is, yeah, so I was actually moving the spline for the signs, for the road signs, not the spline for the, and yeah, that's the little bit of a thing to consider. I I am starting to think that I might like it a little bit better on the other side, just because, this side of the road already has like some of the signs, it has the guardrail, and that side is a little barren. And might make it a little bit more interesting on the other side. So let's try and move it on to the other side. And that's what I'm saying that if you want to make changes like that, making them, the last step, it would be to turn these into individual actors. But I think in the beginning, it's a matter of, okay, what side of the road, or in this case, it's something simple, right? What side of the road does this work better on? So let's just, I'm just going to try and move it to the other side. But it's as easy as just moving the spline and then, maybe adjusting some of the points if it's like one of them is just too wildly out when it comes to the road. But yeah, I think I kind of like it a little bit better on this side, to be honest, because you get to where the guardrail is, and it throws in a little bit of variety. Like you have the electrical poles on this side, the guardrail on this side. So yeah, it just doesn't feel like this side of the road is, you know, not not looked over, right? If that makes any sense. Supun, you're saying, so do you have any advices for me as a beginner to Unreal Engine and I'm seeking a career with it? So honestly, I wish I did because my day job is not game development. Um, I do have an IT job, so that helps, from like a programming aspect of things. Um, but if you're just beginning with Unreal, I would say what I've said to other people in the past is start with like a series of tutorials. And I'm not sure if you follow any channels on YouTube, but here I'm going to type in chat a few of the ones that I follow and that they have some really good uh, tutorial series. Like they start you from how to make a simple platformer or something like that. and that would run you through the concepts of Unreal. Especially as a beginner, I think this is really helpful to look at it this way. Um, and so let me think of what else. Matt as planned. I think that's how you spell it. That's another one that I follow. Of course, there is. Let me see. I was trying to think of some other ones, and maybe other people that are on the stream can contribute to this. But these two are um, some of the channels that I follow, and that they have really good tutorials. I think Code Like Me, there was another one. Hopefully I spelled that right. That's also a good channel with a variety of videos and also kind of tutorial series, which is great. So that's my suggestion if you're just getting started. And yeah, yeah, you too, you too. Looking forward to seeing what you come up with. And one thing to note, that's I think I've mentioned this to many people. It might get frustrating at times, you know, like especially if you're just beginning, you know, because you know, game development is not an it's definitely not an easy thing. You know, it's I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, right? It's there's a lot of work into it, you know, and but if you really like it, it's to me like I really love it and it's so much fun. Like I sometimes I enjoy doing this more than, you know, playing a video game, to be honest. And yeah. Oh, another thing, if you go into all three and you go into unlit mode, you might have a little bit better luck, or not luck, but it might be a little bit easier to select the spline points. And this is for splines in general. It's not just this IA scatter tool. It's just, you know, if you consider splines. And yeah, there we go. You know, you can see these a little bit easier now. And now that I have them moved onto this side of the road, I feel like it's a little bit easier to select them as well. And you know, to find to find the points. Yeah, see like that one, there was one right there. And it's also kind of the nature of the beast here, you know, when it comes to this to this asset where they're all they all have these cables, so it makes it a little bit difficult to see where the spline is. But you know, that's you know, it's a simple matter. It's not anything to all right, so there we go. We have a set of electrical poles going down the road. And like I said, the last thing that I'm going to do is once I have these in place and I'm happy with the positioning, I'm going to convert them into individual actors and then go about changing, you know, like selecting a bunch of them and removing the transformer, maybe removing the lights from a few of them. But the placement is what takes the longest. It's you know, in my case. Okay, well, let's continue and add some more. I want to add some more along this road, maybe along this road, going down to here, and we'll play a little bit more with this. Now that I have this spline already in place, and I've actually managed to pick a pretty long section of road here that maybe I should have gone with a shorter one. But I'm going to use this one and just duplicate it and use it for another piece of road. So let's see. Where do we want to start with this? I am going to start with it over here on this side, where this little village is. All right, wow. I need to do some cleanup because there's a bunch of meshes underneath the terrain. All right, well, let's try and place this as best as we can. There is nothing being spawned right now because most of them are underground, but we'll adjust that real quick. And also the reason that I want to change them to be uh, their individual actors is at a bunch of like crossroads. I want to be able to link between what's on a different IA scatter tool. You know, one of the roads going this way, which I still haven't added. Shame on me. But I want to be able to link, you know, this piece to whatever is going to be going down this way. Hope that makes sense. Okay, let's adjust some of these points because as you can see, this road is a little bit, it's different. You know, it's a different road. So of course, I'm gonna try and select these the spline points and place them above ground. We'll see where they end up. So there's another one there. That's pretty good, I think. There's also one here. I was kind of wondering why there's nothing going through that way. Okay, let's see what else do we have. Where's the next one? Now the road starts twisting. That's this one over here. It's gonna be somewhere right there. And this one here, let's also move it above ground. There we go, that's better. We were actually getting to see some of these electrical poles here. Let's see if we can, where's the next one? Can I jump into this? Yes, I can. There we go. All right, there's another set of these. And luckily, we're kind of getting to the end of the previous road, and we're going to have to extend it out. Let me just place these right away. And I'm going to quickly do a save here. All right, and yeah, there we go. So this one follows the road. It's going to follow it this way. And I think all the points are above ground and they seem to be linking together. Apologies for the mess over here. I need to fix those. And yeah, this one kind of it uh, found it right above this mesh, which apparently is in the main level. So I'm just gonna remove this real quick. Doesn't serve any purpose at the moment. Okay, let's quickly refresh this IA scatter so that it does the landscape spline again. All right, I think I had one of these here, which is in a separate level, and that's actually kind of interesting that it was able to link to something in a separate level. Or actually, let's see, I know that it looks like one of the points is below ground. Or at least not necessarily the point, but the spline itself ended up below ground. So let's try and adjust that. And where's the next point? I think it might be this one here. Oh no, that's actually the... Let me hide this real quick because it's in the way. That was for the potholes in the on the road. Let me try and select this one more time and see if we can extend this out. There we go. That's better. All right, so now these are linked. That one's coming from here, going down the road, down through here, and linking in between all of these. Creates a little bit of a mess over here because I think there's still some of these that are from the substation level, which I just added it in last night, and I need to clean it up. But we have the spline going through here, so I'm gonna continue it. Let me just refine it a little bit. I wonder if there's a better way to select these points. Um, I guess you can, wireframe mode also helps, but you can't really tell where the road is. And guess I was hoping that it might help a little bit, but maybe not so much. Let's see. We can adjust it from here and also adjust these points. As you can see, it gets like there's quite a few points, so you got to be a little bit careful. And also these lights, they don't really help because they have um, all the indication of the radius. Maybe I need to just hide them for now. But it's getting a little bit better, I think. Let's see where that last point was. Right there, I think. Let's try and adjust this. There we go. Okay, I think that's a little bit better. And it goes down the road. Let's try and bring these a little bit closer to the road itself. See where the next point is. One of them looks like it's here. Bring it in a little closer. That. And let's see how we deal with this one over here. This one's a little close. There we go. That looks, I think, a little bit better. As long as it's not on the road, which is good, even better. Nice. Okay. Let's continue with this and see where our next point is at. And one thing to also mention is that this tool has the option to set it so that it's let me see where that is. So the scatter rotation. I'm gonna try and see if we can get some randomization in the poles themselves. You know, like one of them, they might be, you know, kind of leaning to the side a little bit, and or, you know, rotate it around the z-axis. So I want to try that. I mean, I haven't tried that yesterday, so this is just, I'm just thinking about it out loud at the moment. We'll see how that turns out because, like I said, I haven't done it yet. So let's see what comes of it. My one fear, and I hope it's not going to happen, is when um, each one of these poles is looking at the next one. Once you start adjusting its rotation, I'm going to try and keep it pretty minimal, you know, subtle, so that it can still, it can still do a dot product with the pole in front of it. So basically, if this one gets rotated too much, I don't want it to adjust that dot product where it finds the pole that's next after it. Hopefully that made sense. Okay, Let's adjust the spline first to follow the road best as possible. I'm kind of wondering if there's a way to copy the landscape. I don't think there's a way, but I'm thinking out loud. To copy the landscape spline, kind of the road that I already have, to copy that and but yeah, and turn it into a spline. I'm not sure if that's just if that's even possible, but yeah. Okay. Let's take a look at this thing here, and I'm kind of thinking I'm gonna cross the road and see what how this turns out. Yeah, maybe that's not gonna work so well because it needs a pretty big distance to cross the road. Let me do a quick attempt at it. I'm gonna be a little bit blunt with the spline, kind of like that. Oh, hey, that worked. Nice. Okay, let's jump into lit mode. Yeah, so I guess it did cross the road. Nice. And like I said, since it has a fixed distance in between the instances, I need to make sure that it's, within, I don't overdo it. All right, let's add another one. And yeah, as you can see, there's since that was the last node, I'm just gonna try and adjust this one here to try and move it as close. There we go. Nice. Okay. So this one is there. I'm hoping I have enough instances. I might need to set it to a little bit higher number. Okay, let's bring this over. Yeah, and maybe there's not enough instances. I'm just gonna up the value in here. I can't remember what was it set to. Let's do 26. Oh, might be that I need to, this is getting a little too high off the ground, so it can't, yeah, there we go. The tool itself does a trace line down to find where the surface is to place the instance. And if it's too short, I think mine was, I guess it was 1,000 units. I guess it was too short, but yeah. Okay, let's see. So there we go. We have a set of electrical poles, all connected to each other, and that was done pretty quickly, I would say. Now, let's try that rotation and see if we can adjust it in any way. Add spline rotation. So let's try first this align to normal. See if it's just gonna, yeah. So it's gonna mess things up because I'm not entirely sure how it uh, adjusts to it. Even if you add the spline rotation here, let's see, X, Y, Z. Okay, that made a little bit of an adjustment. But yeah, if I change it to align to normal, see, like it just kind of, I'm not sure how that is handled. So I'm gonna uncheck that, and I'm gonna try and do a random rotation min and a max. Hopefully, um, actually, I'm not entirely sure if that's gonna affect since it's got the spline rotation. So let me start by doing it on Z, and then try and adjust these and do maybe between 0 and 5. Let's see, would that make it? Oh yeah, there it goes. So we're seeing this one, kind of lean back a little bit, And then, this one is off to the side a little bit, and maybe it's a little too exaggerated. It looks like it's, yeah, like I said, I don't want to overdo it either. And maybe let's try 3. But also, I don't want them to be like, perfectly straight. Like this one is somewhat, but one behind it, like this one here, this one's definitely sitting on, on its, not on its side, but, angled a little bit. And then once you add the variety in the cables themselves, not being perfectly straight, having a little bit of sagging, I guess it's what the term would be, like, um, yeah. Hey, Christy, welcome, welcome. Yes, actually, that's a good thought. Actually, great thought on that. -3, -3. Let's see, and a -3 for this one. So it goes either way. You're totally right. Thank you so much. And see, guys, that's why I stream as well, because a lot of people contribute to this, so it's great. Okay, there we go. And I am not sure if, since I have the spline rotation to follow Z, if I change this, would this make any difference? So -3. Yeah, I'm not sure if that one's gonna make any changes. Oh, it actually, it does. Or does it? Was it just me, or did I feel like this one turned to the side a little bit? Maybe? I can't really tell. Let's go wild with this. Maybe do a -20 to 20. Yeah, I feel like it did rotate. I guess not by much. It's also influenced by the spline, but I kind of felt like they changed a little bit. Maybe just because I changed the value. So yeah, maybe I don't think it did anything. Once you change the values, it just runs the construction script and it uh, reloads it. But like this one, for example, is a little bit to its side. Not sure if this particular spline point is rotated, but yeah. Well, so there we go. That was actually pretty quick um, to add these in, and you know, it was just like that. And the reason I'm saying, and this is a perfect example here, where I'm going to have these electrical poles end up over here, but I want to link the last one into one of these. So once I collapse, well, not collapse, but once I convert this IA scatter actor into individual actors, I can select the one that's at the end of this spline, going down this road, with the one, maybe one of these, right? And or to keep it simple, I can use this little transformer, where I lost it. I didn't lose you. You're right here. There we go. I can use this little transformer that can link between two of these, and this one itself can be set to two of these electric poles. And this one's I've tried doing this one dynamically, but it didn't work out so well. So I thought, okay, I'm just gonna keep it under control with supplying these values. Hey, Roshan. Hey, I'm Indian and I'm watching your video. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, dude. I'm so happy that hopefully you find something useful, or at least something interesting. Okay, well, we got another road connected with electricity here. Let's do one more. Uh, let's do actually. I'm gonna continue this on down to all the way to here, because as you can see, I still need to do the work of laying down this pavement, and yeah. Well, let's continue with this one. I'm just going to extend this out, continue on to down through here. I think I might be a little too high. Okay, and let's add another one. Another point there, and then one over here. Okay. Oh, and that one actually went below ground. Not a biggie. We'll just adjust it. But I think I need to supply a few more instances here. I don't think 26 is enough. Let's do 30. There we go. That's better. Is that enough? 30. No, not enough. Still need some more. 35. There we go. That's better. Okay. And yeah, this is where one of the other exits off this location is going to be. That's going to be blocked off because yeah, we can't really go off map. But yeah, there's our spline for the combining an existing tool, which I always enjoy this, combining a tool that's already awesome in itself with something that I've put together and actually make things work is a lot of fun. And especially when it comes to, world building, right? It's even more fun. There we go. So we have all these cables going down the road. They work out pretty well, I guess. Cool. Well, that's in place. There's that. What I wanted to do for some of the rest of the stream, because that was kind of the update slash work that we started off yesterday and continuing on today. Let's actually correct some of these joints where the roads meet, because I've had it previously before moving on to the world partition system, and I finally managed to move all the map, or like the map itself with the landscape and all in here. And as I'm starting to add more maps to this, I I'm gonna need to finish off these roads because it's kind of like how things are linked together, right? And especially when it comes to some of these landscape splines where they join into some other roads, right? I need to address that, and I've had that in place previously, so we can revisit that. Let's do it. All right, first I want to paint a little bit of this path layer so that we can get rid of some of these landscape grasses that are I'm gonna do a little bit of landscaping here. Old Nag, is the bushes from the same pack as the trees? Uh, they are not. The bushes are actually from a separate pack, which I think it's called Pinus sylvestris. Let me quickly look that up for you if you're interested. Let me see if I can find it. Um, hmm, maybe I'm not finding it. I thought I would. It is, let me see. I think the name of the package was somewhere in here. Where was it? Let's see. Pines, pipes. Yeah, I guess It's called Pines, but I'm not entirely sure, to be honest, which one of them it is. If you have me on Discord, I can definitely check that out and post it for you if you're interested. I think I should be able to find it, but I think I might have renamed. And then again, there's some of the marketplace assets that you know they come through. Like for example, Phoenix and Impact. You can definitely find it by Phoenix and Impact. Northwood, you can find it that way. The Nordic conifer biome, you can find it that way. The Maui stuff. But some of them they don't really name them. Their folders. You know, as they name it as it's pines. Okay, I get it. But not necessarily in a pines and XYZ dev. So yeah, yeah, exactly. I wish there was sometimes, especially buying uh, and I'm thrifty, so I usually buy on sale stuff. But it's yeah, I wish there would be a few added standards as far as like naming conventions for the marketplace. And I get it, Epic can't really police that kind of stuff. Not, police is a strong word, but like, not, have a little bit of you know, a standard for things, so, some namings that should be consistent and in an ideal world, there'd be some consistency in materials as well, but I get it, that's not possible. But I think with naming, it's pretty easy to say, okay, if you have this type of package that you put on the marketplace, make sure that it's named appropriately or something like that. All right, let's get into splines and try and adjust this spline to be kind of to meet this road here as best as I can. Um, Maybe to about there. Yeah, I'm a little frustrated to some extent with how, not sure if it's 5.2, not sure if it's on my end when it comes to sculpting the terrain using the landscape splines. Yeah, not entirely sure why that's happening. And I'm actually noticing just now that the road mesh is not applied anymore. Oh, there we go. I just had to hide it and unhide it. Yeah. All right. Well, let's get some of these decals that I had prepped previously and see how we can make these two roads blend together a little bit better. First of all, I think this one needs to be a little bit, this particular node needs to be a little bit lower, kind of, let's see, to about there. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure why the thing hides itself like that. It's kind of silly. Okay. Um, it's not really perpendicular, so let's try and adjust that a little bit better. If we can, that is. I'm literally just going by the gizmo now because I have no idea why the spline is hiding. I really can't wait to to move to 5.3. Hopefully it's gonna have some of these issues solved. And then again, it might just be on my end, but it was a pretty something that worked in 5.1 is not working in 5.2. Yeah. All right. Well, let's select some of these and try and adjust them to match the road and kind of hopefully blend in as best as we can make them blend in. There we go. That's one. This is just a road patch that I can set somewhere up, at least for now. And this is this kind of just a stop here. There we go. And I also need, and I believe I already have it brought into the world, the these ones down here. So this one kind of just to set up the corner of that. Let's see where it is. There we go. That makes it blend, fakes the angle of the road quite a bit. There we go. And then one on this side. All right, that works out. See if we can adjust this one. There we go. Okay. So that's a road intersection. I would like a T junction, I guess it's what might be called. Let me remove this one. I'm not sure if I'm a big fan of this particular decal. But what I'm a fan of is this one here with the actual decals from through the IS scatter tool. And let's bump this up a little bit. Try and see if I can get. It's one of the setting is interesting. It says display less instances, but it's actually displaying more. And so I'm not sure if this one is labeled properly in the IA scatter tool. But now there's all these road decals that are procedurally placed. Well, to some extent, I did put in the spline, but the way they're added to the spline, it's completely or to some extent procedural. And yeah, this is one of the issues I would say that I might I it's not necessarily a big issue, but since this guardrail is also a landscape spline, I do need to adjust it a little bit better so that it kind of sits where the road is. And I believe there is a way you can, let me see which one's snapping. I think there is a way to snap these to surface. So let me see if I can do it like that. And yeah, maybe this one doesn't really snap when it comes to these landscape splines. I guess I was hoping that I might be able to use it to snap to surface. And also you can't use end to place it right above the surface below it. So I just need to kind of set it up where it just sits right next to the ground. Luckily, there's not that many points, so it's yeah, just some fine adjustments at uh, around here. And it's interesting. It looks like um, the node disappears. Like the one that I'm selecting, as you can see, it just disappears. Yeah, this is also a new thing that I have not encountered in 5.1. But yeah, the problem with that is since um, I can't figure out why it's not sculpting the terrain per spline, and it is sculpting it. I can't select the spline, and like previously in 5.1, I was able to, um, whenever I was moving one of these nodes, the landscape would uh, would sculpt itself, right, automatically. But this one, I need to specify that I want to sculpt it. So yeah, go figure. All right, so let's see if this one it's not gonna mess things up too bad. Okay, that's pretty good. Let me just bring it a little closer to the road. And this is another point of frustration that these little billboards or whatever you would call them where you select them, the size of the billboard scales with the size of the half width, which is just I'm not sure who had that idea, but definitely not a uh, Unreal Engine user outside of work, apparently. All right, let's try and do the thing where just hiding this and unhiding because apparently that loads the mesh back in. And there we go. So now we have this one coming all the way to the end of the road, which looks a little bit better, I would say. And yeah, these roots that are growing around here are part of the procedural foliage tool that also spawns some of the logs and some of the undergrowth. The these should actually probably be part of the landscape grasses. So I'm gonna need to do that cleanup outside of the sprint outside of the stream. Okay, let's take a look at so this one is in place. I'm gonna need to clean up these roads just so that, you know, kind of paint that layer that doesn't have a landscape grass applied to it. And the other thing would be to probably drive on this road because it looks like it's about to go off-road. It's so steep over here that it's just not, I'm not even sure why I have it that way. So let's fix that real quick and actually make it so that it's something that you don't need a 4x4 to go over it. And this one, let's bring it down. Just gonna do the half width to, let's do 3000, make it pretty wide for that section there. Okay, I think it could be even lower. Okay, that's definitely getting much better now. It's not that, yeah, it looks better now. But yeah, like I said, that section of mesh, it's hidden now, but why? Not sure I get it, but all right, let's set it back to 700 because that was the size of it, and we'll do the whole hide and unhide just so that we can get it back. All right. The other thing that's a little frustrating is some of these landscape grasses and some of the vegetation. I guess they they end up floating like this, So what I have to do is just going into sculpt and then smoothing out the terrain, which, it's not a biggie, but it's still, and probably it's going to update once you reload the level is what I'm hoping. I don't really know if that will happen, but all right, so let's refresh this one so that it's placed back on back on the ground. And let's do a little bit of cleanup around here. I mean cleanup as far as, painting the terrain with the proper layer where the road is. And I wish there'd be a better way to do this, to be honest. I'm not sure if there is. I mean, you can probably do it with a splat map from the get-go, and then just place the road along where the splat map roads would be. Um, I mean, this one doesn't take that long anyway, so it's fine. Yeah, there we go. So definitely these roots need to move into into landscape grass. All right, that's definitely better. It's actually a road with asphalt and not a whole botanical garden. But let's try and get this kind of gully area set up. And I'm going to use some of those meshes that I was showing you yesterday, kind of one of these. Since they're pretty big and they got some decent detail in it. And like I said, with the flatness of it, I can adjust that by adding one of the other meshes. That should be somewhere around here. It's actually this one. Yeah, so let's try and add these kind of just alongside the road over here and see how that turns out. Now these could be added pretty easily now that I'm thinking of it. Let's give this a try. I'm gonna try using the IA scatter tool to which is actually used right here. Nice. To add this kind of bigger mesh. This cliff maker. That's what it's called. And see how that turns out because I mean I kind of like hand placing these bigger boulders and then the scatter stuff at the bottom of them, place them with a tool like the IA scatter. But I want to see how this turns out for the bigger stuff as well, like the bigger meshes. Hey, Camel Gamer DK, welcome. Hello, how are you? Okay, well, I am going to leave this here for now, and let me just duplicate it, and I am going to add this cliff maker instead of this. We'll see. We'll see what this is gonna create. Is gonna what we're gonna end up with basically. There we go. Oh wow, that stuff is gigantic. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Glad to have you on the stream. All right, so there we go. There. Yeah, and I mean, it's kind of funky looking. It's all right, I guess, but yeah, let's see if we can adjust some of these settings because I don't want them tilting that crazy along the X or Y axes. Um, so let's not align to normal to begin with. Yeah, it is my own game. Hence the name of it, On Your Own. I mean, the player is on your own, is on their own. It's a single player game. It's an action adventure type of game, And yeah, lately I've been kind of in the background working a little bit more on some of the gameplay. But what I wanted to, and I'm hoping I'm still saying that I'm hoping to show it in the next stream and the next stream, but I just don't get around to building that particular area where I want to show some of the gameplay. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna keep my word and do some of it as soon as possible. Like from the entry sequence with the plane to you jumping at a chosen location, and then kind of getting the first missions at that point. Some of the initial combat, because each one of those jump locations is gonna put you through like a little bit of some takedown scenarios slash using a bow and arrow. And yeah. All right, well, let's see how we can turn this into something. It's kind of rotation around its axis. Let's try and adjust this to like a, whoopsie. So -10 to -10 to -50 to 10, 10. Hmm. Oh, thank you. Appreciate your words. Thank you so much. Oh, and it couldn't place it on the ground because of this guy right here. So let me get this out of the way. Yeah, it's a tough call, I guess, because it um since it does a line trace down, it doesn't really find it the right position. And I guess I can, sink these in a little bit, but yeah, with these bigger ones, I think I'm just gonna I think I'm just gonna do the kind of a manual placement with these. It's just it doesn't really work with that scatter tool. The scatter tool, like I said, let's do a quick use of it. It's gonna be perfect. Let me see where that area is and grab some of these from here. It's gonna be perfect for this stuff. So for this stuff, this is where the tool actually shines. The bigger rocks, not so much. At least not in a way that I could think of. But for stuff like this is perfect. You know, I think this is where it's at for this tool. And the cool thing about it is that you can set it so that there's an option down here. Let's see, where was it? There's a lot of options. Sometimes I'm still trying to like, where is that particular option? So where you spawn it, so that it only spawns on a specific or it doesn't spawn on a specific material. So in this case, like, I don't want to spawn all these on the road, right? And but I am not where was that thing? Hmm. I thought it was down here somewhere. Let me see. Is it material? That's a debug. Yeah, I'd have to look at it, but that's what I'm remembering. There's like a way to set it so it doesn't spawn on specific materials, or it spawns only on a specific material. So let me see. Oh yeah, there we go. So tracing exclusion, do not populate uh, on this PMI scatter. The only thing with that is that so this I think this is PM from physical material, right? So the road in my case has a physical material of concrete. So when you walk on top of concrete, you get this the the noise of concrete, right? But yeah, so you can see that it says do not populate on this or populate only on this, and that's pretty cool. But for now, at least in my case, I'm just gonna adjust the spline to follow the road or the side of the road. So there we go, kind of like that. It's already much better. And I guess um, these ones could be um, like the smaller meshes could be placed within the same scatter tool as this one. The only thing is I want to control, like you can control the spread. So for example, this particular ones has a, I want to have a smaller spread than these ones. So these ones could have a spread of, 300. So it'd be more like spread out. And these ones could, would have a smaller spread than the smaller rocks. But for now, let's just keep it at around 100. And then we have these ones out here, these big ones. And the other one that I wanted to use is, let me see which one. This one was this also massive cliffs. So to kind of break the flatness of this surface here, just going to try and use one of these Megascan cliffs that is also sort of flat, so they kind of work together, but it removes a little bit from the other one. Yeah, I kind of like that. That's what I was looking for. And of course, on some of these I'm also going to use the where was I at? Oh yeah, right here. So some of these kind of place atop of the rocks because I actually just really like the um, some of these trees that grow on top of these boulders. Oh, hey, Sasena. Did you manage to figure out how to tweak the poles to work with the scatter? Oh, I did. So I can show you that if you just joined. Let me finish by placing this this scatter tool on top of these or what's going to be this boulder, these sets of boulders around the road, along the road. All right, so this one definitely needs a much smaller, well, probably less instances as well, and much smaller spread. There we go, kind of like that. Cool. Yeah, so Susanna, yeah, check this out. This is right now on the spline. And if I was to move one of the points, Or actually, I think the best way to exemplify to show you is by reducing the number of instances. So let's go to 30. All right, there it is. So now if we do this at 35, there's our electrical poles and they're all linked together. And it's all, besides the arrangement of the spline itself, it's all dynamic. And what I can do is with the tool, with the IA scatter tool, I was showing this a little bit earlier, there's this option, this utility widget, we can, the actor you selected, you can convert it back into actors. And what that does is it literally just, uh, breaks the IA scatter tool here apart into its combining pieces. So you have all the actors placed, they're all linked together with the cables, and at that point you can select a bunch of them and like remove the transformer, flip the light to be on the other side, or remove the light and so on and so forth. And they keep their linkage. So for example, if this one was an individual electrical pole, this is how it works. It basically works off of dot product. So now, excuse me, I just had to hydrate myself a little bit. Okay, and so what this does, if I duplicate this, see it just links together with the one next in front of it, and it does so within a certain radius. So for example, you can see that red thing around it. Um, now it's cut, but actually let me, and I need to specify that it's not on the spline, because the spline has a little bit of a different setup. Like see, like this one can link into the spline itself or into one of the ones next to it. Or, I think that's the one closest, and within also so it does a dot product between the arrow, this red arrow, so it kind of looks in front of it. It looks in front of itself and says, okay, am I within this particular dot product? Basically like kind of if you think of a frustrum, like you're looking forward and you have like an opening, like basically kind of the same way like field of view is, and you get the dot product for this one. If it's on a spline, it's only going to pick up the ones in front of it, right? I mean, if this one is on a spline is unchecked. So this one, you'll see that it should link into this one that's in front of it over here, because it's got a better dot product. And then, so if I was to duplicate this one again, I just need to kind of refresh the cables. I think it should be better if it just goes backwards. But yeah, see, so they link. But placing them with the IA scatter tool, it helps because I don't have to like worry about, terrain elevation, like this one is already in the ground by a little bit, so the IA scatter tool already does the placement. And then once I break it down into its pieces, I can then select, oopsie, I don't want to do that. So if I break it down into its individual pieces, don't tell me. Sometimes just control Z, like undoing, sometimes would crash the engine for no particular reason. But yeah, that's how this one turned out. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the result. I mean, it's we've added this long. Um, this is actually just one spline that goes along this road here, and it kind of cut off over here because it it was able to find one, even though it's in a separate level. It was able to find one and link into it. And I'm not sure if it's because the spline itself, like you can see now, it fell under the ground. So let me see if I can adjust that real quick because I sculpted the terrain a little bit. So let me see if that will fix it. There we go. So now it just fixed that. And you know, another thing that that also can be done with this, and we were playing around with, is adding some like a little bit of rotation. You know, to kind of not have these that like they were just literally placed now. So we were playing around with adding some rotation, you know, to give a little bit of variety to these poles. You know, like take a look at this one, for example. You know, it's you know a little bit tilted, a little bit to the side, and you know give that a little bit of real world imperfection. Not the fact that the house is floating, but you know it's fine. It's normal. Yes. So that's yeah, that's some of the update, right? All right, well let's do the same with this scatter tool to bring it back, bring it onto this other side of the road as well, and you know kind of create a little bit of a you know kind of move some of these on that side also, and adding some of these trees where these rocks are. I think it definitely you know helps you know break up that surface quite a lot because you know it's repetitive. It can get repetitive, of course, but you know, having some of these trees is, or you know, I mean, not necessarily trees, but you know, definitely breaks it up quite a lot. And let me see, there's kind of like over here what I wanted them to be. There we go. So that's pretty easy, pretty quick. And oops, actually, I think I might have interrupted this particular line. Oh, hey, Aeon, welcome. Hey, what type of game are you making? It's a single player, first person action adventure game. Literally called the name of the stream On Your Own. And just to give you a quick breakdown, the player enters the world through, you know, the heavily used, everybody using it like a kind of a flight sequence. So you're flying the plane and there's a malfunction and you get along the flight path, so which it's a predetermined flight path basically, you get 3 points where you can jump. And each one of these 3 points is at different locations across the map. So depending on where you decide to jump, you're gonna start the game a little bit differently, you know, and you're gonna probably approach things a little bit differently. And that was kind of what I was hoping to do with, uh, I guess, replayability. Yeah. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. There's of course there's going to be the NPCs, kind of friendly NPCs that are going to give you the missions, and of course there's going to be the enemies, which is not a again I get this question I think asked more than enough. It's not a horror game. There is definitely you know the aspect of you know why these special forces here kind of what's happening in this location that you have to discover through you know through the missions that you're going to get assigned. Yeah, hopefully that was a very brief breakdown of it. All right, I'm trying to figure out why this one is not I lost one of the pieces along the road. I lost one of the electrical poles around around the road here. Where did you go? Let me try and refresh this side scatter. I mean, It's not interrupted by anything. At least I don't think. That's interesting. I'll have to figure out why this one got cut off. Hmm. And as you can see, since I'm using this IA scatter tool quite a bit, because the big advantage of it is kind of instancing, right? So I don't want to, especially with the smaller rocks, um, I don't want to take in the burden of that many extra draw calls. And since the tool instances everything that you place here, it's very helpful. Uh, but I'm gonna have to figure out why this one is having trouble over here. Let me do something real quick. It might get really slow, but I wanted to check on player collision to see. Yeah, uh, there's no trouble with that. Thank you so much, Ian, and thank you so much for stopping by. I mean, I'm definitely having a lot of fun doing it, and hopefully people will have fun playing it. That's kind of the main objective. Yeah, and I think the biggest thing about it is if this one, because I already have plans for like a part two. Like I thought of this about this in two parts, kind of trying to be mindful about how much work I can do and not be too ambitious with it. I mean, I'm already way too ambitious with it, working on it by myself and but I guess what I'm hoping for is if, people will like part one, I'll definitely try and do the part two that I have in my mind. We'll see how it goes. Stay tuned, I guess. But yeah, what I'm hoping for is to finish building these areas, and then initially I had a thought that this summer, or this, I guess the summer is done, to do a pre-alpha for people to at least get into the game, kind of the starting of the game, and maybe a couple of missions at the beginning. That kind of got that schedule. I wasn't able to stick to it, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm hoping at least this year to get something out, or at least the beginning of next year to get a pre-alpha so people can test it out and have some fun with it. But yeah, thank you so much for asking. Okay, well, um, I am not entirely sure why this one got cut off like that. That's interesting. I wish there'd be one thing that I'm kind of not sure if it's even possible. If with a spline, if you can do a color coding, like this can turn out to be, like I have quite a few number of splines, like the splines with the electrical poles, the splines with some of these rocks, these kind of fallen rocks. Um, I wish there was a way to like color code the spline. I'm not sure if the spline itself has that property where you can set a specific color. Oh, actually you can. So there is an option to set the color to something else apparently. So there's an unselected color, and then there's like a selected color. So I'd have to do a little bit of digging into it. Not sure if there's already that, I guess that property is not available yet. But yeah, the cool thing about this iScatter tool is that it's a blueprint, so you don't have to like, well, for one, fiddle around with C++ if you're not so familiar with it. Like I'm not familiar. I mean, I know a little bit of it. I've done some with CryEngine, but um, at least with this one, it's all blueprints, so you can like I was able to actually edit the spline the iScatter tool to some of my needs. Okay, I think that's it for today, guys. Thank you everybody so much for stopping by. That's kind of pretty much what I wanted to also show, but and mainly, started with this thing that we started yesterday with this with these electrical poles to be on this tool and to actually link between them dynamically. And so that worked out. But I appreciate everybody stopping by, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your Sunday and a great week coming up. And I'll see you next week, hopefully with some more updates. And I'll uh, I'll even try to throw in a little bit of gameplay. Who knows? Hopefully I get around. Hopefully this week is not going to be too busy with work. But yeah, that real life gets in the way of the fun stuff sometimes, but you have to do it. So thank you guys so much. I'll see you next week. All right, bye.